Good afternoon, everyone. This is Laura Tibbetts in the system office. I'm showing that we've got a quorum of our committee. Hopefully Regent Scott might be able to join us in a little bit, but with that, I'll turn it over to Chair Austin to start the meeting.
Thanks, Laura. Good afternoon, and welcome to the Telephonic Finance and Audit Committee meeting for November 9th, 2021. The time is 2:02 p.m. Notice of the meeting was provided to the Secretary of State as required by Texas Government Code. Please note the audio of this meeting is being broadcast live. Before we take roll call, I'd like to remind everyone to please mute their phones unless you need to speak. Laura, let's begin the roll call.
Thank you. We'll start with you, Chair Austin.
Present.
Regent Flores. Regent Flores, do we have you? Regent Tinsley.
Present.
Thank you. And I'm seeing Regent Flores, but we need to ask you to unmute. Can you try *6? Do we have Regent Flores yet?
Present.
Okay, thank you. And then Regent Scott. Okay, I don't think he's here. Okay, and then we have Regent Harrell with us.
Yes, present.
Thank you. Chairman Amato.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, thank you. And do we have any other regents on the call today? Thank you. I'll move down to our staff. Chancellor McCall.
Here.
Daniel Harper.
Here.
Carol Fox.
Present.
Sean Cunningham.
Here.
Derek Alexander.
Here.
Nellie Herrera.
Here.
Sandy Poole.
Here.
Kelly Winnemute.
Here.
Thank you. And do we have any other system?
Pearson.
Oh, sorry, Pierce Mitchell is hiding behind a chair. Sorry about that. Any other TSUS staff? Okay, thank you. I'll move down to our institutions, starting with Lamar University.
This is Jeremy Alltop here for Dr. Taylor, and I'm joined by Jamie Larson.
Great, thank you. Sam Houston.
Yes, Carlos Hernandez on the call for Dr. White.
Thank you. Sol Ross.
Hi, this is Pete Gallego. I think Jim Goodman and Bonnie Albright are both, or Bonnie Albright is on the call with me as well.
Thank you. Texas State.
Denise Trouth here, along with Eric Algo and Lisa Lloyd.
Thank you, Dr. Trouth. LIT.
Rudy Gonzalez and Lonnie Howard.
Thank you, Dr. Howard. Moving on to Lamar State College Orange.
Tom Johnson, Mary Wicklund, Wendy Elmore.
Thank you. And finally, Lamar State College Port Arthur.
Betty Renard and Mary Wicklund.
Thank you. And did we have anyone else join since I started roll call? Okay, thank you. That concludes roll call.
Thank you, Laura. Daniel, Carol, and I had the opportunity to review the agenda prior to this meeting. At this time, I'll turn the meeting over to Daniel, who will present the Finance and Audit Committee agenda items.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Today's agenda includes 6 items for the committee's consideration: tuition and fee rates, an update to the investment policy, 3 informational items, and 1 consent item regarding an easement. The first item is on page 101 of the board materials, which is the TSUS tuition and fee changes. This item establishes tuition and fee rates for the next 2 academic years, effective fall of 2022 semester and the fall of 2023 semester. Some context before we start. For the 2022 operating budget the board approved in August, overall state appropriations accounts for roughly 33% of revenue, and tuition and fees account for roughly 53%. And these 2 funding sources are what fund the core academic enterprise of our components. The state's formula rates for our universities have remained flat over the past decade, while the state is funding the growth in the students, which is our number one priority. Inflationary costs are borne by either efficiencies or tuition and fees. And with respect to inflation, CPI is estimated at 5.3% recently, and the Higher Education Price Index is estimated at 2.7%. With that, I'd ask the committee to turn their attention to page 103 of the materials. This table summarizes the sticker price for a full-time undergraduate student at our 5 universities. The increases range from $130 per semester at Lamar to $180 per semester at Texas State. You'll see right above that the percentages range from 2.4% to 4.6% based on the institution or the semester we're referencing. At the bottom of page 103, you'll see the guaranteed price plan by cohort. The establishment of a 4-year tuition lock program is required by statute, and we have named ours the guaranteed price plan. All 5 universities have implemented a new institutional services fee that consolidates 5 smaller fees. And this streamlines fee accounting and fund management for the institutions. On page 104, you'll see the same summary, but for the state colleges. The proposal before the committee today is to maintain the tuition reduction the board approved in June for another 2 academic years. And as the committee will recall from our June presentation, this was an overall 47% decrease in tuition and fees. Following these summaries are institutional worksheets by component institution. For Lamar University, they have a modest 1.5% increase in designated tuition for each year, a $5 increase in the new institutional services fee in each year, a $3 increase in the medical center in year 1 and $4 in year 2, and a $3 increase in the rec sports fee for both years. Additionally, they have a $10 increase each year for their nursing program fee, which supports the nursing program. And on page 113 of the materials is a summary of the changes for the academic offerings that are in partnership with academic partnerships. Sam Houston has a 2.6% overall increase that is applied to the institutional services fee, and a 4% increase in tuition for the College of Medicine in year 1. Sol Ross, essentially all of the 3% increase is applied to the institutional services fee. They're implementing a 15% premium on designated tuition for graduate programs. This is something similar to what Sam Houston State already has. They have a $3 increase in the rec sports fee. They're establishing a nursing fee at $500 per semester, which is associated with the recently approved program, and a $2 increase in the lab fee. Sol Ross Rio Grande College, essentially all of the 4.5% overall increase is also applied to the institutional services fee. They're also implementing the graduate tuition differential at RGC and the same $2 increase on the lab fee. Texas State University has a 2.9% overall increase, with the bulk of that, that increase being applied to designated tuition. They also have tuition differential programs for the College of Health Science, or the College of Health Professions, the College of Science and Engineering, and the McCoy College of Business, due to the increased cost of those operating those programs. And as well, they're implementing the institutional services fee. LIT has no changes from the June board approvals. Orange is establishing a nursing and allied health program fee of $60, which will replace the lab fees associated with that. And then I will note on page 144, there is a typo. The title should read Lamar State College Orange and not Lamar State College Port Arthur. Lamar State College Orange also is increasing the lab fee to $15 per semester for those not associated with nursing and allied health. Lamar State College Port Arthur is implementing the same $60 nursing and allied health program fee and is increasing the remaining lab fees to $10 per semester. And with that, I'd like to recognize the presidents and the CFOs for presenting to the system conservative proposals that continue to achieve the delicate balance between access and quality. And Mr. Chairman, that concludes the presentation on the tuition and fee motion. And unless there's questions, I'll move on to the next item. Hearing none, the next item is on page 147 of the materials, which is the approval of the investment policy. Annually, TSUS staff through the new investment advisory committee review the investment policy. And this review provided some minor recommendations. We want to reorganize the order and the layout of the policy to provide greater clarity, clarify that endowment funds may be held within and to a lesser extent outside of the unitized pool in rare cases, clarify the process for appointing additional investment officers, eliminate the requirement to collect certain prospectus documents that we do not collect at the system level, and add language concerning benchmarks in each of the unitized pools. And the quarterly investment report will be coming out in the coming days and will highlight the results of our investment strategy that is even more robust due to the support of the board to move to this centralized investment pools. And Mr. Chairman, that concludes my overview of the changes to the investment policy. And unless there's questions, I can move on to the informational items. We have the final operating budget adjustments for 2021, and you'll note that overall it's up 5.4% from the level that was approved 15 months ago. And that increase is associated almost exclusively with the implementation of the Texas State's quasi-endowment to support financial assistance. We have the annual foundation reports, which begin on page 211. We have the quarterly status of the implementation of audit recommendations. And those are the 3 informational items before the board. And then the final item is on our consent agenda, which is granting an easement to AEP for the underground power line for the Museum of the Big Bend expansion at Sul Ross State University. And Mr. Chairman, that concludes my presentation of the Finance and Audit Committee agenda items.
Thank you, Daniel. Do the committee members agree to move all the items to the full board? Regent Flores?
Yes.
Regent Scott? I believe he's on. Regent Tinsley?
Yes.
Okay, with that, we'll move those to the board. Thanks to everyone for calling in. Unless there's further discussion, this concludes our telephone meeting for today.
Thank you very much.
For the record,
Thank you.
For the record, it's 16. I look forward to seeing everyone next week in Huntsville.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Good
you.
one.